Power is on the agenda of Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi's 3-day trip to Egypt. In a tweet, the former governor of Anambra State said he would understudy other sectors, including power, like education and finance. Here he is on a radio station talking about electricity output in Egypt and the importance of learning from them.
15 and 2021. Between 2015 and 2021, Egypt have been able to double their own from 26,000 plus to 55,000. And that's why I said, even if you don't know what to do, let's go to Egypt and tell them, please, what did you do that in these 6 years you doubled this? Can we go and learn if we don't know how to do it? That's what I've always done in my life. If I don't know how to do it, I go to you and say, oh, please teach me.
All right, teach me. We have a teacher in here in the studio, Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu, who teaches us about aviation, banking, power. Chika, very welcome. Good morning, sir.
Hi. How are you today?
Our fine, Chika. You know we always give you the heavy topics. How do we solve power, Chika? What's the?
Let me talk about first of all, the Nigerian banks.
Yeah. Okay, the banks investing in solar energy.
Yes. The rich also cry.
Yes.
I mean, when you see your rich neighbor rationing power, and then you that is struggling with payroll is still running 24/7 power, I mean,
yes,
you just get worried. You know, a lot of banks now, you know, for most of the banks, the key driver for them is
yes,
what? The cost-to-income ratio.
Correct, yes.
And even though most banks are moving to, even the 24-hour digital banking requires power.
Yeah.
To, you know, and then even the branches, some of them have, before the digital thing came into play, most of the banks have 300, 400, 700 branches. Each branch has about 2 generators, sometimes 3 generators, depending on how strategic the branch is. I know the price of diesel now.
Yes, it is
climbing. So, I mean, so all those things just dump on the cost-to-income ratio. And as we explained yesterday, you know, what that meant, what that means. The drive, therefore, is how can we make it cheaper?
Yes.
You know, because diesel and power happen to be that line happens to be one of the most, the largest part of the cost of operation. So it's not surprising, therefore, that the banks increasingly are looking for, you know, alternative and cheaper sources of power.
Right. And
solar is the thing now. Solar is being pushed everywhere.
Yes, it is.
It's you know, it's not surprising that in the last 2 weeks I've had some 3 or 4 groups who are into solar.
Okay.
Who have had to come and get me involved in, you know, trying to dimension their strategy and stuff like that. So solar is it. When diesel is expensive, you run to alternative sources of power.
Right.
So it's not surprising that the Nigerian banks are pushing that alternative source of power. And I guess it's cleaner too than the fossil fuels.
Right.
You know,
correct. Cleaner on the environment.
Yeah.
All right.
Nigerian power. You ask me, how would Nigeria have, you know, power?
Yeah. More stable power.
You know, I keep telling you in this program that our problem is not planning. Our problem is not planning. And because there have been several plans over the several years on how Nigeria will have power 24/7.
Right.
Indeed, most of the development plans that Nigeria had from 1970 till now, if you go through them, you will see things like that about Nigeria's power system. And lately, for this administration that is ending May 29, 2023, we clapped for them when they had the Siemens power deal.
Yes.
I went through that document. You know, Siemens is one of the first class, the top class in the power in its sector worldwide.
Yep.
They came and did a proper diagnostics of the Nigerian power system, and then faced the project under the Presidential Power Initiative into 3. The first one had to ramp up clean up the problems we have, and move up the availability of power to 7,000 megawatts from the average of 3,000, 4,000 megawatts we have now. Second phase was to ramp it up to 11,000 megawatts, still on the existing capacity. And then finally, the third phase will move to 5,000 megawatts. With that, the whole nation will have power. And you know, so what next? Our problem in Nigeria is what? Is implementation and execution.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
At the time, we kept asking, where are we on this Siemens deal? when he came on play, on this program, I remember the program, we said, they always think that we're criticizing this government every time.
Yes.
We're not pressing them, but this is one thing that they have stepped out really bravely and gone for the best. And I do recall that even the chief of staff, may so rest in peace, was on a trip on the same power deal, pushing this in when he got COVID. And so it was on the chapter 1 of the government, but somehow, it has peddled out all. Have not heard so much about it. So our problem is not really the thinking or the paperwork. Everything is there. But the political will to implement things. The power value chain starts from maybe generation up to distribution up to your house and my house and the industries and those that use power. And for the generation people, if you back it up, they need gas, So it's surprising. People ask me, say, but gas is everywhere in the country.
Right.
They're flaring gas everywhere. Why would the Gencos say they don't have gas to power their plants? But the issue is for gas, for example. Yes, they're flaring gas, but the areas where they're flaring gas are all dispersed. They're not in one place. So you need to, gather all this gas through pipelines, come to a gas processing plant, and process the gas. From there, you start dispersing them to the power stations. And there's so many issues, involved in that. Prices and pricing issues, pipelines being blown up, and so many other things. And the investment required for this gas processing plant is heavy. Yeah. And only about, I think, at the last count, about 15 of them, when the nation needs maybe double or triple that capacity. Yeah. And so, again, the pricing issue. And then because of, if you front load the value chain up to the consumers after the discos, money is not coming back to Gencos. Gencos are not able to pay for the gas, and the gas companies are not able to supply gas on time. And so that's why it's surprising. It's not surprising when we heard last week that the Niger Delta power companies, about 5 of their plants, were down because there was no gas. Right. So if you move forward there and go to the transmission company, and I tell you that's the black sheep of the family. Everybody said that's black sheep of the family, and that they just there. Then you move from there, you move to the discos, and then you move to the discos, and the end game is now the pricing. The pricing. I've done a lot of work on this thing, with about 100 to 120 naira per kilowatt hour. I believe that the market will survive and thrive. Now it's about 40 to 50, depending on the service reflective tariff that we had. Yes. Remember that increasing prices, the values not increasing. Correct. So, see, what it requires up there is leadership.
Okay. I have a minute to go. You did all this without going to Egypt. You didn't have to travel.
Well, I'm surprised. A bit of it that quotes everywhere in the world. I'm surprised it's going to. He says it quotes Vietnam, Lebanon, everywhere. But nothing wrong with going there. But as I said, we have all the plans here.
Yes,
execution is the key.
Execution is the key. We'll end the show on that note. End the segment on that note. Arise business analyst Chika Mbona. Chika, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News.